Welcome back, everybody. Just Mike here. Don't forget to subscribe because it's free, and give me a thumbs up if you appreciate this video. Anyway, we have another new clock to work on. And it's not new, it's old. But let's take a look at it. This is the clock I got. I don't know if this is a 8-day. I'm pretty sure it probably is. But it's got the, I don't know if you call him a gladiator or what you want to call him, but he's got the rag on. He's getting ready to be trampled by a horse, I think. But anyway, it don't matter. This thing measures to the horse's nose 18 inches, and this one doesn't have a pendulum. The tape that's on here is really on here, so I'm going to use a razor blade to get that off. It acts like it's been on there forever. This says it was made in France. So, and this will be time only because it does have just one winding area. I think I had it figured out. Not that one. It shows it's a number 5 key. This didn't come with keys. This is sounds like a tin clock. I thought it was maybe pot metal. And it might be pot metal. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and take this apart. You take these two screws out, or nuts off, and then the whole thing just falls out. I have a feeling I'm going to just oil this clock. I might go ahead and clean it. We'll see. I wound it up because it's down all the way. But anyway, let me go ahead and take these two nuts off, and let's take a closer look at the movement. Now, like I said, those nuts hold this whole movement in. So you take out the front. So here you can see it is ticking. This here, I don't know if it had an extension or what, but you can see where possibly someone cut out the plate because it doesn't look professional. And I would guess that way you can maybe slide a screwdriver in there and get a hold of this. On here it doesn't say which way is faster or slower. And as tight as it is right now, it's not about to move. It only has one marking on here. Let's see if I can get you a little closer to take a look at this thing. Doesn't like being tipped. So I have a feeling we're going to clean this thing. Yeah, it doesn't like that at all. So to disconnect this from the dial and whatnot, it has a taper pin here, 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 and here. But first I'm going to have to take the hands off. And can you see that? This thing looks like there's holes in there, like they had to tap this on there to get it on. So I'm going to probably use my hand puller to pull that off and see what I can do about that. So I've noticed you're seeing this just the same as I am. This here's got a stack up of washers. Now this was wound down all the way when I got it. Here's we'll call it the bolt that will adjust how tight it hits on here. This does have a little bit of a wobble. There's one on this side too. But what I'm going to do first is take pictures of this thing and make sure I know how it's supposed to go back together again. And I did notice right over here is a A. If that means anything to anybody, that'd be great if you could let me know too. But what's odd is it does say New York on here also, so maybe this is a New York movement, I have no idea. And the clock was made in France. So I'm going to let the spring down. It's got this wire, or it's actually thick. I'm going to see if I can pop that off of the clicker. So once I back it up, boy, that's on there good. I guess I'm not going to pop that off. I'm going to have to release this, and with this being underneath, it's going to be a little difficult, but we'll get her, I hope. You know what? I forgot. I like to put zip tie on there, so it's a lot easier to get back off again. Let me get a zip tie. There, my zip tie has got everything on it, all the pressure. Now we can go ahead and take these nuts off. Oh, I see here. On the back side of this, there's a wire that must be just under here. That's what's hooking to the spring. And the spring does look a little corroded. So I'm going to be careful with that spring. And if I need to, I'll change it, but I don't like necessarily changing them unless I absolutely have to. And then this here taper pin is holding the spring wire. And you need to be really careful with these spring wires because they'll break in a heartbeat. So now we have that safely taken out. We're going to pay attention to this as we get this out the rest of the way. So there you can see the wire goes through a hole and slides up in, and that's what will control this for the speed. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off if I can. It almost looks homemade because it looks too new. And like I say, there's a stack of 3 washers on there. Now our minute pipe or gear, and this one here is the one that should be slowing down the hands. There's another washer there. I'm almost wondering if I'm missing something, or they lost their that might be what it is. They lost their, let's put this back on here real quick. I didn't put the washer down below. So if there was a friction washer down below there, that would cause this to come up. And then of course here you're going to need a bigger washer to catch this gear, and that way I'll hold the 2 down. So we'll see if I can come up with anything there. Otherwise we're going to have to do the same thing they did. This is the other part for that wheel. I think we're ready to take those nuts off. This here is a friction washer here, and it's not doing anything. We'll take a look at that. But that washer, that friction washer that's on there, that's supposed to go down enough to hold that. Plate, and then we'll take a picture of it looking straight down. There's very few gears in here, but this will give you a better chance if you messed up on your pictures that you can see them. Let's see. This spring probably still has some tension on it. Oops. I want to get a picture before this stuff falls out. So because of this being time only, this is a very simple movement, and you can see there's very few parts to take out. This here is what goes back and forth to get your clock to tick. So this is just way too loose. And so what you do is this washer right here, that needs to be pressed down again to snug it up so your minute hand doesn't just flop around, because this here is pressure fitted on. I'm going to try to get this thing off. I don't know if I can or not, because it'd make it a whole lot better so I can get this on easier also. So there's no way I get that gear off, and so I decided to take this washer off, which, like I say, is pressure fitted down onto here. That's supposed to hold this thing snug, which it wasn't doing. And now I can get this off to where I can get this off. This here, it kind of sucks because that there was built that I couldn't slide it by if I wanted to. So I think that's the only way you get that off, is to take that pressure fitted washer off that collapsed everything on here. And of course here, to clean this, just small spring, so it's not too bad taking that off. And then you just kind of, there you go. Now looking at this spring, it does look like it needs a cleaning. You can kind of see the old stuff on there maybe. And the spring would be nice if it opened up more. Now I'm only a little bit worried to see this spring, because it looks like it might be a one-day clock, which if it's a one-day clock, I highly doubt this clock got used very much. But I won't know until I get it all cleaned up and working again, or working longer until I tip the clock. So I've cleaned from here to here with the cleaner here, and this piece on the outside, you can see this here's not cleaned yet, how nice it cleans up. But this outside piece I found is a separate piece from this piece. You can see how it's been bent over, and I don't know if they did that because it has that light rope design or whatever on the outside, and it also has the design on the inside. I don't know if you can see that in there or not. And I'm going to guess this inner side is also brass. It's clean up. I thought it was steel at first. And also this here, I don't know if you can see that or not either. This is beveled glass, but it's such a slight bevel you'd never notice it unless you're cleaning this thing. There, you can see it there. And I took the door off. It had a pin in there that started falling out, and I thought, well, why not pull it out of there? And so this way it's going to be easier for me to clean this. So to get this to snug up a little bit, I can't find any washers worth a hoot. So I have a small washer down here, and then I put a brass washer on top of that, because you can only hit this here down just so far and it stops, but it's enough right now that this has a good drag on it. So I got this clock that was made in France, done. It took me a while because I don't know that this thing actually ran, and it was needing some parts, I guess we'll say, bent, tightened, whatnot, such as, like I just said before, this is that the friction washer that operates the hands or keeps them so you can move them, otherwise they move with the clock. That needed to be adjusted. Anyway, we got the clock running now. Seems to run fine. It's a big, beautiful clock, and I don't know because I haven't ran it yet, but I'm gonna guess originally I'd figure this here's a 30-day clock. It could be 2 or 3 days, I don't know for sure. It's a 30-hour clock, or it could be more, but the spring wasn't that big, so I'm just going to say 30-hour for now because I haven't ran the clock long enough to find out. But like I say, it's a beautiful clock. I did clean this up, as you saw, so it looks much nicer now. I washed this. I didn't do anything with it. Some people might go ahead and re-spray paint this again to be a brighter gold. I like the kind of antique look to it, so I'm going to leave it just the way it is. So I hope this video helped you, and this is another reminder of seeing if the clock even runs. Sometimes they're gummed up and they won't run, but if you can get them to run a little bit anyway, to see if there are any problems with your clock, so that way when you're in there fixing it, you know more of what you're doing or what to look for. So anyway, I hope you appreciate this clock and me fixing it. And until next time, don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up, and God bless. So